time this year, especially compared to his other years with the Lakers. Every year it was 25-plus games except for the championship season where they, of course, had the long pandemic-induced break in the middle. Are you surprised he's not playing tonight?
A little bit, because I just saw him playing in the All-Star game. I know he only played the first half, 14 minutes, but yes, because he sat out the game before the All-Star break, played 14 minutes in the All-Star game, and now he's sitting out. It's not a good look.
Oh,
it's not a good look.
So I think it's the exact opposite.
You think it's a good look?
I think that. So you go ahead and finish, because my takeaway is about the All-Star game as well. But
that wasn't a good look for sure. But I'm just saying, to miss that game, the last game of the break, before the break, then playing the All-Star game, now misses, not a good look. One, because it looks like, he actually could play tonight. Now, I know he doesn't play a lot of back-to-backs, so is he playing tomorrow when they face San Antonio? That would be different. But that's not good. And for the league, Nick, this has been something that's bedeviled the league for the last few years, is your big names missing these huge games. I'll be honest. Tonight, I was really looking forward to this game because I wanted to measure the Lakers, and they've been playing well with AD, and D'Angelo Russell's playing well. Austin Reeves, they got it going lately. They're not just winning; they're playing great offense. Austin's averaging 17, yep. D'Angelo's at 20, LeBron and AD around 24 against the Warriors, who've been playing well as well. So I really wanted to gauge it. Now you can't gauge it because LeBron's not there. So that said, quickly, I give LeBron a pass this year, this whole year. He's 39, he's in his 21st season.
Yeah.
I don't mind if he load manages. So I'm not all up in arms about it like I might be about somebody else. But it doesn't look good because people saw him out there in Austin.
Okay, so on the LeBron getting a pass and other guys not. Listen, Kobe, Dirk, and Duncan are 4th, 5th, and 6th all time in minutes played, playoffs and regular season.
Okay.
They are all 10,000 shy of where LeBron is right now. Giannis and Steph's career minutes combined is shy of LeBron right now. Jimmy Butler and Dame, kind of older players, combined are less than LeBron right now. So if there's anyone entitled to take days off, and as we showed, he hasn't taken much off this year compared to previous seasons. Here's where, and I didn't know what you were going to say, here's where we both thought of the All-Star game, but I thought of it in a totally different context. This makes me angrier at all the guys who didn't give a damn about the game. Because I don't think LeBron is, milking an injury. I think LeBron is dinged and was why he missed the game before the All-Star game, why he missed this one. And I think he understood, you know what? Despite the fact that I'm in year 21 and I'm injured, or not injured is too strong. You know what I mean? Not 100%.
I'm hampered, yeah.
That we are an entertainment product for the fans. And I have an obligation to go out there and at least temporarily put on a show at the All-Star game. I am the standard bearer of the league. And so the fact that LeBron, maybe if he didn't play in the All-Star game, he could have played tonight. I think for the overall health of the league, that's a good trade-off. And so
it could have been had they all bought in. And look,
well, that's kind of my point.
Even though
now
LeBron
it feels like it's for nothing, because the All-Star game itself ended up being a joke.
And maybe to your point, maybe he's at halftime, I went out there. 14 minutes is not 5 minutes, right? He played, and he's like, this is what we're doing. So then he sat out. So I feel you on that, and I agree. I would like LeBron. Now, again, these dudes might not have listened, but had he done a speech maybe before the game, all the players look, and because LeBron has been in the league and in the All-Star game when it was taken fairly seriously and they had some competitive games, and now he's been several years of this. He could say to them, talk about the difference and why they owe it to the fans to go out there. Now, they might not listen because even though he's LeBron and he's all-time great, you don't know what these guys are listening to, but still, I'd like to hear him say it.
Well, and you saw, that guys did go into the locker room and say that beforehand, and one of them was Andre Iguodala, who came into the league after LeBron. He's a little bit older than LeBron, but he came into the league, and Larry Bird as well, and they didn't listen to Bird. They didn't listen. The shame of it is Warriors-Lakers the last time they played, might have been the game of the year so far in the NBA.
Yep,
it's certainly
awesome.
on the very short list, and we don't know how many more Steph versus LeBron we are getting. We got, obviously we got it in 4 finals.
Yep.
We got it in the playoffs last year. We got it in the play-in a couple years ago, and those are always going to be more meaningful. We might get in the play-in again this year. More meaningful.
I don't want them in the play-in. Do you want them playing each other?
I
want them in the playoffs if they meet.
Yeah, but the problem is the only way that's going to be able to happen.
They'd have to both be.
They'd have to both go, and they'd have to both
Probably
go
the conference
deep.
finals,
right? Because they're both going to be on the bottom. Right, it's not going to happen. You would have needed one of these teams to be playing really well. All right, so let's keep going with the Warriors-Lakers. Sticking with tonight.
All right, no doubt about it, Nick.
Wow.
Any who needs it more question when it involves winning with LeBron and Steph is LeBron.
Why?
For many reasons, in my view. Number one, as great as Steph is, LeBron's better.
Of course.
And LeBron is the one in the GOAT conversation. So any achievements that he has are potential arguments for him in the GOAT conversation. I mean, that's really how we view it. Like, if they make the playoffs, those in the LeBron camp can say, LeBron made the playoffs at 39
And
when Jordan didn't.
And what will the Jordan camp say?
Jordan didn't have Anthony Davis.
Right, exactly.
but you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, LeBron is still building a case for the GOAT. Now, and on the other hand, Steph has all. Now, you can say LeBron, I don't know if we say he overachieved because obviously so much was expected of him. He certainly didn't underachieve. He either met what was expected, which was arguably the best ever, or he overachieved. But Steph has overachieved by a mile already.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, and not just because, Nick, he played at Davidson and was a mid-lottery pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's because his size.
He's small.
For any player his size, he has far outlasted what would be expected. Steph Curry is the only player, and this is the part I know you'll love this discussion. He is the only player under 6'6" to be the centerpiece of a dynasty. You had George Mikan, Bill Russell, Magic and Bird, if you call the Celtics a dynasty, Magic and Kareem, and then Bird with the Celtics, Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, Tim Duncan, and the Warriors.
Yep.
And Steph, of course, is he's 6'2". When Jordan did it at 6'6", that defied conventional wisdom. Like, you can't have a dynasty with your best player as a 2 guard. Jordan did that, and now Steph's done it as a small point guard. Isaiah Thomas, a mini dynasty.
Right.
Right.
Well, I think you can take it. I think you can take it even further, Brew. Steph is one of only 2 guys, he and Isaiah, under 6'6", to be the unquestioned best player on a champion. That's just a champion. Like
right.
Bob Cousy before Russell got there, they didn't win.
I don't think they didn't
no,
win it,
he
right.
won league MVP. The Supersonics.
Gus Williams, but you had Dennis Johnson.
Exactly. That's my point. So I agree with you on that. Like, the size thing is, whenever people talk about can Jalen Brunson be the best player on a champion, all these types of things, it is not knocks on these guys.
Right.
It is, we have 75 years of NBA history that says the best guy on your team better be Michael Jordan's size or bigger. Mm-hmm. Kobe Bryant's size or bigger, or you're cooked, except for Zeke and Steph. But the reason I totally disagree with you is because if the question is who would a championship mean more for, okay, then I might go LeBron.
That's an interesting one right there.
But they are far off from it. But I think Steph is now entering, you said after the title, I don't know if it was the title, you said recently.
The 4th title?
That he was a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
Right?
It was
top 10
probably
guy.
after their title, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to make a prediction about how we are going to, when people are going to rank players, the guy that Steph is going to be elbowing with, going back and forth.
For top 10.
It's going to be him and Kobe. Not to be top 10, but when you're actually ranking them, like I have this guy 7, this guy 8, this guy 9, I think Bird, Kobe, and Steph are all going to be in around the same area. And Kobe and Steph have oddly similar resumes in this regard. They both have multiple championships where people are like, wasn't the best guy.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Wasn't the best guy.
3 for Kobe,
right.
2 for
They
Steph.
both have at least one final series where it's like, ooh, that's a bad series. You know what I mean? That was a tough one. For Steph, it would have been 16, and for Kobe, it would be 0-4 against Detroit, right? So
And the first Celtics one wasn't great.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Detroit, didn't he hit the game winner in
he
the
hit
second
the one,
game?
and then they have those. And the one thing that is an odd blemish on Kobe's resume that is not on the resume of any of the other guys in that pantheon is smack dab middle of his prime, missed the playoffs entirely. That first year without Shaq. And then the next 2 years, bounced in the first round, including, so 3 straight years for Kobe, middle of his prime, did either miss the playoffs and get out of round 1. Steph, I don't know if we're still considering this his prime, but Steph missed the playoffs, certainly in his prime, back-to-back years. Now, 1 year we throw out the broken hand.
Right.
But the next year, they were the 9 seed, lost in the play-in to LeBron. Right now, I think people still consider this the end of Steph's prime. If he misses the postseason again, I think that, you're right, he's not in the GOAT conversation. Mm-hmm. But when people are like, who would you rather have had, Bird or Steph, Kobe or Steph? I think something like, hold on a minute, you couldn't you don't have to win the title, you don't have to win a round. You couldn't drag a team to the playoffs when nobody thinks the Warriors roster is trash. So I think that's why I think for Steph, because he's younger, because he hasn't done as much, because he's already missed the playoffs when healthy in the middle of his prime, missing it again, I think, would be an odd blemish in a way it wouldn't be for year 21 LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron is playing. I've said this, and some people might say it's not fair. But LeBron is in the stage of his career where whatever he does is icing. I don't think he can hurt his career, his standing.
No.
Even if they don't make the playoffs, you say, oh, he's got Anthony Davis not making the playoffs.
The only
he's
thing
39.
the only thing that can hurt him, dragging them to the finals and losing. That's the only thing that can hurt LeBron is if they were to make the finals and lose.
Small-minded crowd.
Yes.
Yeah, because they would, at the end of the day, they'll say he's 4-7.
Exactly.
Or 4-6. Or I guess if Steph somehow miraculously won the championship, that would hurt LeBron. Okay. That's not something LeBron's doing, but then some people would be like, even though
Steph's
LeBron's better, but was it even LeBron's era? But no, I think I'm surprised that you say, I mean, that's good logic. I mean, I think that's looking at it deeper than most people will. I had never thought of the Kobe versus Steph.
It's just a weird thing because Kobe
I think most of us, look, I mean, Steph's obviously far more efficient, the best shooter ever.
Right.
But Kobe, I don't think anybody right now feels like Steph's better than Kobe.
Well, but so I don't either.
The analytics crowd probably does.
No, I don't either. But I guess my point is, if you have him in the top 10, which a lot of people do, I think it's very, very hard to be like, who was better, Steph Curry or Shaquille O'Neal? Like, you almost do sinners.
Because those are the two that, in my book,
exactly.
are kind of
So I think that what people will do when they're doing these lists in their head, they'll say, okay, here are the 10 best players. The centers are their own self-contained list. And then, okay, the wings. So you have LeBron, you have Jordan, you have Bird, you have Kobe, you have Steph. And, like, you know what I mean? You're ranking them like that. And they just have – Kobe has the longevity. He has, like, double the All-NBAs, if not close to triple.
Defense.
Steph has more regular season MVPs. Steph is going to have way better, like you were saying, analytics.
Yep.
And so they are going to have an interesting resume when they both
Kobe
lost.
could end up being like – I know we don't want to get off on a tangent. He could end up being viewed like Isaiah, where – I feel like what I would say real basketball heads know how great Isaiah was and have him ranked properly.
Oh, that's interesting.
But a lot of the analytics crew don't think Isaiah was that great because his numbers analytically weren't. They got Stockton ahead of him.
I think Kobe is too legendary for that to have happened too. Like as far as in the culture and
now.
No, that's a good point.
10 years from now, I just wonder.
And if people are saying, and then we'll move on, if people are saying that's crazy, that could never happen, I think there is a whole generation of people, honestly, my age and younger, that truly don't believe Isaiah Thomas was as good as he was.
Right.
And so and so it can happen to where a guy in the moment is considered head to head with all the greats, and then history remembers all those greats in a different way, and they remember him. I don't think it'll happen to Kobe, but it happens to guys. All right, understand, no matter what I do in the regular season, I'm at that point where people can judge me off whether I win a championship. I realize that, and it's like, all right, I just got to do it. Brew, your reaction.
Well, first of all, I would say to Jayson, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
When you get to the level of you got to win a championship, that's great, right? That's a burden that we only put on the best players. All right. So number one, wear that with pride, because that's a compliment to how good you are and how good people think you are. Now, I guess here will come the detraction if that was a great compliment to Jayson. I think Jayson Tatum, as great as he is not quite at that level where it's like, we're going to give you incredible love and praise, even though you haven't won a championship. Like Embiid, even though he struggled in the playoffs, the dude has been so good in the regular season, particularly this year, that you still give him that love, and we put him on the top tier, and he gets MVPs. Luka, same thing. Like, we just know how good Luka is. So I see like two tracks. I see the track of, you are so great that you better win a championship, because everybody that's as good as you wins a championship.
Yes.
And that's where Luka is, and maybe Embiid is. But, then there's the track of, you got to win a championship for us to know how great you are.
Yes.
Even though we know you're awesome, right?
Yes.
But you won't get that love until that extra.
Kevin Garnett.
Yes,
Dirk,
yes.
those guys.
Dirk is the one I wrote down.
Yes.
That's what Dirk was.
D-Wade would have been, but
great.
D-Wade won it so early, so it didn't matter. But go ahead, sorry.
But no, you're right. I mean, we knew how great Dirk was, or we knew he was great. We knew he was going to be a Hall of Famer, all that. But once he won, he needed to win a championship to kind of go to that next level. And that's where Jayson Tatum is. And if he does it, look, I think if he does it, then he will indeed go to that level where now he's a perennial MVP, like top of the MVP race. And so, this is a compliment to him. He's got a great chance to do it. And here's the other thing, quick, Nick. If he doesn't do it, like, there's really no excuse. I know Denver's great, but
Boston's got the best roster.
They should be able to win it. If you're that guy, you should be able to win.
So here's the thing: you're saying it's a compliment, but he's saying he's anointing it as himself, but he's also saying it about himself. Like he is.
But it is true.
I don't think it is.
Really?
No, because because I don't think people look at Jayson Tatum quite like that. So I tried to make a list. There are 10 guys in the league right now who either were, in their prime or are currently the type of guy where you are judged, you are supposed to win the title.
Right.
And those guys are LeBron, Steph, Durant.
Steph wasn't there.
No, I know, but I'm saying, or have been at some point in their career, or are right now. James Harden.
Yes, absolutely.
Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, he's done it,
Giannis, Joker, Luka, who has not done it but is judged like that, Embiid, and that's 9, and this other one's projection, but I know it's how he's going to be judged, your guy Wemby.
Oh, yeah.
I think those are the only 10. I think there are then, I have another list, guys who we're going to see if they get to that level. These are all very young guys. Anthony Edwards, SGA, Halliburton, Ja, Paolo. I'll throw in Wild's guy Chet. Like, who knows? Very young. Then there's a whole other group of guys that are veterans, been in the league for a while, that we all think are awesome. Devin Booker, Dame, Anthony Davis, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell. It's like, hey, those are great players. But you are not judged, can you carry your team to a title? Because we don't think you can. And right now, I think Jayson Tatum lives in that world. Now, if he wins...
So you agree with me, if he wins, now he moves up.
If he wins, he moves up. But I think there is, oddly, even though he's younger and in the league less and has less playoff pelts on the wall, I think there's more pressure on Luka than there is on Tatum, because even if we can't prove to you why, I think everyone that watches basketball is like, yeah, that guy's better. Like, sorry, he's just better. He's just better.
But I got to be honest, I don't know how much pressure there is right now on Luka. It's going to keep ratcheting up.
Well, I don't know how much pressure there is right now on Tatum.
If they don't get out of the East, Now, you're right. He's not at the very tippy-top tier
The
yet.
only person talking about that Jayson Tatum has
Is
to win a
Jayson.
title is Jayson Tatum. Nobody, the reason this is the topic is because Jayson Tatum keeps saying, I want to be the face of the league.
He got a
I want to
little
do this.
Embiid in him.
Right, no, and good for him. Like, I think that's good to try to speak into existence, create the pressure. But this is the life across NBA history of a guy who's around the 5th or 6th best player in the league. It's just different than the life of the guys who we think might be the best. And I think that's, now Tatum wants to be the guy who could be the best. Right. I don't think he's in that echelon. If he wins a title, maybe.
He needs to win it.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.